And welcome to this special edition of Hannity. And tonight, terrible news for Democrats who are limping into the midterms. President Trump is now poised for a major geopolitical win in Iran. News of a significant deal is already driving down dramatically the price of oil while sending the stock market to one record high after another. We get reaction tonight. The great one, Mark Levin, will join us. But we do begin this Friday night with the ongoing identity crisis that is the Democratic Party. It's never been this nuts. Unlike most identity crises, well, there is no confusion about who Democrats are and what they believe. This is now a full-blown socialist, Marxist, statist party. Democrats have become so radical, so extreme and hateful that candidates are now forced to just flat out lie, contort their very publicly stated beliefs. Their biggest problem is their own statements are on video. For example, here's the latest example from Texas Senate candidate James Talarico, who apparently wants us to refer to women as neighbors with a uterus. Not making it up. Take a look.
This summer, more than half our population became second-class citizens. Every one of our neighbors with a uterus became the property of the state.
In these situations, when there is an unwanted pregnancy, it is moral for a woman to be able to control her own body, or any one of our neighbors with a uterus to be able to control their own body.
Neighbors with a uterus. Can you imagine if I said to all the women in this audience, in other words, all of you out there with a uterus, it's nuts. But at the base of this new radicalized party, the term women and woman is not politically correct, apparently. Here's another insane statement from Talarico that will haunt his election. Not only does he want our southern border to have a big welcome mat, but in the state of Texas, he, quote, opposes voter ID. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? No voter ID, no proof of citizenship, big welcome mat. And he wanted to run a vegan campaign, said that too. And not for drilling either. I don't know, seems like he's out of touch with maybe Texas values. Time will tell for sure. And I'd really want him to explain what the sixth gender thing is. Now, James is now welcoming an endorsement from fellow Texan, Beto Bozo O'Rourke. Take a look.
Jen, he's the best I've seen over the course of my life running and being involved in politics in Texas. And so we all just have to get behind him. James Talarico will be the 51st vote in the U.S. Senate.
No, I tend to doubt it, but we'll see. That's what elections are for. Keep in mind, Beto Bozo lost every statewide race because his views were too radical. And I think Talarico's more radical. And this brings us now to a recent op-ed, Wall Street Journal, that says, quote, Democratic men are having an identity crisis. On one hand, you have wimpy, woke, left-wing activists running in a state like Texas, while in Maine, Democrats are running a communist with a Nazi tattoo. His name, Graham Plattner. Now, the author of that op-ed, Teddy Daniels, is a soldier that Plattner mocked. Plattner called a Purple Heart recipient a dumb mother bleeper. He said he didn't deserve to live. Daniels rightly responded with a perfectly worded observation about Plattner, quote, a real man by the lights of the Democratic Party. He represents himself as relatable to working class Americans, but in reality, he is a typical elitist who believes blue collar, hardworking, salt of the earth, rural Americans are stupid and racist. Something else that he said. And by the way, why do you ever treat heroes like that? Now, the same could be said about every so-called man in the Democratic Party. Now, they may dress up in different outfits, they don't have a uterus, or speak in different accents. But at their core, the left is all woke, arrogant, elitist. And now socialism, statism, communism is vogue. And none of the Democratic, quote, leadership in name only dare takes them on because they now dominate the party. And sadly, the rise of anti-Semitism. Just listen to this moment from the Michigan Democratic Senate debate. Take a listen.
Is there an anti-Semitism problem in the Democratic Party? Ms. McMorrow.
There is. At the Democratic Convention, an attendee yelled an anti-Semitic slur at my husband, who is Jewish, who was walking with my 5-year-old daughter?
The answer is yes. Now, that was Michigan Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow. Standing next to her is the guy that she's running against, Abdul El-Sayed, a socialist with a seedy history of anti-Semitic ties. El-Sayed even, quote, struggles with whether or not the world's only Jewish state should be allowed to exist. And this is the guy that campaigned with Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. In New York City, more thinly veiled anti-Semitism from Zoran, Marxist, Kami Mamdani, refusing to attend the Israel Day parade, the first New York City mayor not to attend in decades. We'll have more on that in a moment, but remember the radical from Columbia he invited into Gracie Mansion where he lives. But tonight, it's clear, above all the rhetoric, all the slogans, all the excuses, at its core, the Democratic Party primarily pushes two very disturbing views: radical socialism, the New Green Deal, statism, and anti-Semitism. And that is the current identity of the Democratic radicalized party. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.